Bukola Oriola has been an advocate for human trafficking survivors for many years in the North Metro area and all across the country. Her nonprofit, the Enitan Story, recently received one of the first grants in the state to specifically help survivors of labor trafficking. Taka Zen has more.
This is something that is deep to my heart.
As a survivor of human trafficking, Bukola Oriola knows firsthand the struggles survivors go through. That's why 5 years ago, she started her nonprofit, the Enitan Story.
The Enitan Story is a survivor-led nonprofit organization, and the mission of the organization is to advocate for victims and empower survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence.
Bukola has accomplished a lot in her years for survivors of human trafficking. Recently, the Enitan Story has reached a new milestone. They received a $155,000 grant from the Minnesota Department of Health.
This grant is specifically targeted towards serving youth victims of labor trafficking. So if the person is age 21 and under, we will serve regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their citizenship, or regardless of their race. We're going to serve them.
Bukola says labor trafficking is a kind of human trafficking that isn't commonly talked about or isn't easily identified.
Those kinds of victims are not seen because there is no money being spent to even identify. And this population sometimes don't know that they are victims because they just think it's normal, or they're in a bad situation, they want to get out. They don't know how to get out or what they are going through.
This grant will allow the Enitan Story to do the research and work needed in identifying labor trafficked victims as well.
We all know that without spending money to do the data, we can't find the data. So this will help us to start finding that data, to know that really there are victims who are labor traffic victims in Minnesota. I was a labor traffic victim in Minnesota, and I know for sure that there are more labor trafficking victims in Minnesota that we are not identifying because we don't have funding to be able to do the in-depth community outreach.
With programs that focus on self-empowerment, job and life skills like sewing and making bags, and even entrepreneurship, Bukola sees a lot for the pages of Enitan Story.
I see Enitan Story as an organization that will continue to represent the voice of survivors, an organization that will be trauma-informed, and also the one that will be seeing things with the lens of a survivor.
For Bukola, she knows this page of the story will support so many others who needed help just like her.
For me, it's about the survivors. It's about the victims. It's not about my personal issues or my personal feelings or what I think. No, this is about human beings and human lives. And for me to be in that situation once before and saw what I experienced, I have to keep thinking about these people.
And even though this chapter will provide the necessary support, she knows personally that the money is just the means to continue the story.
The money is not my driving force. It's the life and the gratitude that I'm alive and my child is alive. That means a lot more than money.
For North Metro TV, Taka Zen reporting.
The grant received by the Enitan Story lasts for 2 years, and it can be reapplied for after that. It allows the Enitan Story to have a project director and 2 independent contractors to teach classes. Bukola operates the community outreach.